Hi, Miss Bruton's class. It's Chef Sandy. Today we're going to make fancy silver dollar pancakes for Mother's Day. You're going to need the help of an adult, just as usual, because you're in the kitchen, but there's lots of things you can do today in this recipe. We're going to start by separating eggs, because we need the eggs and the yolks and the whites in two different bowls for this recipe. So we're first going to start out by cracking an egg. So it's best to go slow when you're cracking an egg, and you want to crack a line all the way around. So what you do is you actually rotate your egg while you're tapping it. And then my whites are going to go in this bowl. My whites are going to go in this bowl. My shells are going here. And then I've got a big bowl here for my yolk. And you can see I did that just in my hands. So what you do is you crack the egg all around the outside. Just like that. And then the white goes into this bowl. You can see how I just let the white drip through my fingers. And then I'm going to pass it very gently back to my other hand. There we go. Okay, so now for this recipe we need 3 egg whites and only 2 egg yolks. So, I'm going to do one more crack all the way around. Okay, you can see I make sure I'm over the bowl when I take the top shell off, because that's when the egg white starts to spill out. Lifting it up, some of it. Okay. I'm going to pull this little piece of the white off. There we go. I only need 2 egg yolks, 3 egg whites, and this is just going to be into the compost. Just going to pause so I can wash my hands. Okay, so I've washed my hands, made sure I wash them for 2 whole minutes. Go back and forth, make sure you get the soap all over the place, because there's lots of germs in raw eggs. There's salmonella and traces of E. coli sometimes, so you have to make sure you're making your hands very clean before you touch anything else. So, my hands are washed. I've got my egg yolks here, I've got my egg whites here. Put my egg whites aside for now. And I'm going to combine my egg yolks. So here, just going to be whisking, and you can see I'm going pretty slow actually. So when you're holding a whisk, you want to wrap your hand all the way around it, holding it here like you're holding a pencil almost, but with more fingers. So there's our egg yolk, and now I'm going to add some milk. So I need a 1/4 cup for my milk. And that's a 1/4 cup. Quarter cup of milk. Stir that in. Okay, and now we're going to add in 1/8 cup of coconut oil. So this is just melted coconut oil. You can melt it in the microwave, or you can have an adult help you melt it in a pan. So 1/8 cup of coconut oil. If you don't have coconut oil, you could use grapeseed oil, or you could use vegetable oil. So in goes our oil. Now we're gonna add in a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So I've got my measuring spoons here. That's a teaspoon, that's a 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. You have to go very slow when you're measuring small proportions. There's our vanilla. Okay. And now we're going to measure in 1/3 cup of flour. I've got my 1/3 cup here. And what we're gonna do is you can either sift the flour into the bowl or you can whisk it first. So you just wanna put it through a sieve or whisk it first to make sure there's no lumps, because these are big fluffy pancakes and it won't work if they have lumps. Okay, here's our 1/3 cup of flour. And so you can see with my little whisk here, I'm just getting all the little lumps out. And this is just all-purpose flour. Okay. And you want to do a little bit at a time so you get a really nice smooth consistency. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to bring over our other bowl now. Just knock out any excess flour. Okay. So in our other bowl, we are going to do our egg whites and our sugar. So you remember our 3 egg whites from before. It's going in there. And then we need 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, I couldn't find my 1/2 cup, so how else can we make a 1/2 cup of sugar? 2 1/4 cups. So, I'm going to be, move my little tiny sugar spoon here, filling this up twice. A little bit extra. Make sure it's nice and level. It's a little slow for me personally. Okay. Okay, so this is our first 1/4 cup, so I've got this ready. Now, my electric mixer broke. So I've attached my whisk attachment to a drill. If your whisk breaks, maybe your dad or your mom can help you still use a whisk. Okay, so I'm going to be, oh, I can see one little piece of eggshell in there. That's not uncommon. That happens all the time. That's why it's good to check before you start blending. You can just take that little piece of eggshell out. Nobody wants crunchy pancakes. It's just not nice. Okay. Whoa, this is pretty fun. So I'm going to add about 1/2 of our first 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to add the rest of my first 1/4 cup. I'm going to set my cup here and measure out another 1/4 cup. Make sure it's level. And I'm going to add the rest of our sugar. So in total, 1/2 cup of just regular white sugar. So we finally have the consistency we're looking for. It's very thick and it holds its shape. So when you make a little ribbon in it in the bowl, I can see that ribbon for a few more seconds. That means it's holding its shape, and that's what we're looking for here. So now I'm going to stir in a little bit of the yolk mixture to our egg white mixture at a time. So I'm going very slow. There's some more of our egg yolk mixture. So I want to combine, but I don't want to take all that nice air we incorporated out. So I'm just going nice and slow. Okay. Okay. Okay, and I can still see all the air bubbles in there. I don't know if you guys can still see them. Yeah, see all those cool air bubbles? Those are really important. Don't want to burst our cool air bubbles. Okay, so now I'm gonna get our fry pan ready. So I've got a little piece of paper towel here. And just with the excess coconut oil I have, because you really don't want to use a ton of oil here, because you don't want to deep fry your pancakes. I know that sounds tasty, but the pancakes will absorb the oil. They will be greasy and yucky. You don't want that. So I've got our pan all oiled now. This is a non-stick Teflon pan, and I'm gonna go heat it up and I'll be right back. Okay, so now your pancake batter is gonna go into your pan, and I would use tablespoons as your largest size, maybe even teaspoon, because you want little dollops of batter, and then they sit for 1 to 2 minutes while they're cooking, and then they get flipped, so you get these little tiny silver dollar pancakes.